Hello, Patreon members. I have, 20 minutes before my class, and I'm about to film today's Tàijíquán Tip. So I thought I'd try and give you a look behind the scenes, I guess. The audio won't be so good for you because I am recording the audio through the iPad over there by the bay window there. I'll tell you a little bit about what it is that I do. The idea is during COVID, I became exceedingly busy. And I also wanted to reach out to people who weren't able to get to me, to the studio for a variety of reasons. But I'd have a student that's going to be 5 minutes late. And so that's my little interstitial time, or I'd have 20 minutes between the end of one class and the start of the other. So I'd use the restaurant, heat up my tea, and then I'd look and I'd have 7 minutes. So the idea is, can I record something that's a total of less than 3 minutes? I didn't necessarily start that well, so I might have done 4 minutes in the beginning. But the idea is to make it something that would fit in the TikTok format in this TikTok age, I guess. And then, of course, share it on Patreon and YouTube and Facebook so that, us older people could find it. My general idea was I'm going to film a 3-minute thing. I'm going to have zero prep apart from getting the headphone in and setting the camera and hitting record. So I'm not thinking it all through. I'm not writing a script. I'm not planning what I'm going to do. I just more or less set the camera, hit record, go. And then when it's done, I generally cut off the first 11 seconds while I'm walking into frame and so forth. And then I cut off, I don't usually cut off the end. And then I'll try and upload that. A lot of times I'll try and mess with it just so it looks a little visually different from another one, and maybe it catches somebody's eye. So if I have a few minutes, I'll set that to process it with some kind of weird filter, and then upload it. Probably it's uploading while I'm teaching you when you're in class. So my total time is a 3-minute recording and 2 or 3 minutes of edit, and then upload sort of happens while I'm doing other things, and then it's there. Probably takes me another 3 minutes the next morning to repost it in all the places and update my notes, But the idea is, can I offer something with very little time cost to me and free, no cost to everybody else? Of course, today's Tàijíquán Tip, the idea is that there it is. The idea is that people would receive it, like a tip jar, and possibly help out as well. So what I do, here again, I have 15 minutes before my class. So I'll hit record. I'll do that. I'll set up my iPhone, usually right next to the recording device, so I can see it count towards 3 minutes. So I kind of shut myself off and up. So I kind of do that. And the general idea of it is that I'm going to be practicing something, whatever it might be, and then I'll see the camera and I'll welcome you in and say hello. Then I'll start teaching. But that's kind of what I'm figuring out when I'm going to teach. Then I'll be very limited in time. And then as I walk towards the camera, or as I get to the camera, hopefully right before I hit stop, I'll try and offer some more generic advice. But again, I haven't thought that through. So the kind of idea is you've kind of happened on me practicing. And then when I see you, I share something. And then, when I say goodbye, share something else sort of more generic. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Anyway, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try and record a few. I haven't thought about what I'm going to do. We'll just see. And maybe I can record 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them in a row, and you'll see it all. So, and of course, later you'll be able to see them, when they're posted and edited and so forth. So, thank you very much. Sorry the sound won't be great for you. So I'm just setting my timer, and then I'll hit record, then I'll step in the frame. Oh, actually, that's a slight error. I had the wrong camera on there. That's pretty funny. I could explain it later. Okay, reset the timer, and Someday Farm. I'm Stephen Watson. This is today's Tàijíquán Tip. So I happen to be wearing a shirt from the Joseonghwa Festival. This is their centennial celebration shirt. And that gives me the thought that I'll pass on to you as a tip to practice the form that you know very well and try and re-invite in something that you learned at a workshop. Of course, I'm assuming you've been to workshops, right? The idea in this art is to expose yourself to more of the art than just what your teacher shares, right? So meditation, reading, workshops, meeting other, if not teachers, other students of other teachers. Not that we want to make you too mixed up in the head with too many sources of information. That's not going to make things very coherent. But at any rate, I've been to this workshop, this particular one. I must have studied 7 different things with 7 different teachers over I think it was a 2-day event. And so I probably was very excited about some of them when I came home, and I probably worked on them for a while, and I might have just kind of forgotten them. So the idea is to sort of remind myself of those, reincorporate them, or I'll just say we'll pick one particular thing, and remember, reincorporate that lesson. So that principle, that type of movement, that piece of emphasis that the teacher gave you, it doesn't mean that you're going to keep it forever in your form, but invite it into the cradle of your form. So thank you very much. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. And be sure that you sign up for a workshop. Do a little bit more than your regular class. Thank you. So I've just hit stop. I'm going to just reset, and we'll just do another. Hello, welcome to Someday Farm. I'm Stephen Watson. This is today's Tàijíquán Tip. So the idea here is to practice, and what I practice is think about blades of grass, but you might imagine something like clouds, or a mattress, or springs, something that will receive the weight of the foot and then return. So like a trampoline, I guess, but I kind of think of it more fine than a trampoline. And the idea here is not for me to simply step and then pick my foot up when it's time to pick my foot up. And it's not for me to shift my weight and then drive my knee into the guy I'm hitting with my knee. But it's to give my weight and feel that the floor receives that weight, just like the blade of grass receives the weight, but I can visualize that as a more gross movement than I see any flex or deflection in the floor. And so that when I give to the floor my weight, when I begin to shift, I can feel or imagine that I feel the deflection of the floor returning to its previous equilibrium, so it's springing back, so that I feel a little bit of encouragement or support or additional drive to lift my foot. Now, of course, it's probably imperceptible, right, unless I am on a trampoline or something like that. But the visual for me, which I imagine I'm on blades of grass, they all fold and receive, which is to say they're storing the energy of my step. And then when I release, they help support me. And it puts a little spring in my step, a little spring blade of grass. So you can practice this in your drills and your exercises and your warm-ups, stepping drills, for example, and certainly in your form, because you're going to be having stepping in that. So enjoy that. And maybe just think back on, the extent to which you have or have not sprung back, right? Received from your art and then given back, right? Thank you very much. So that's 2, just resetting the camera, and then we'll do something else. Oh, reset the start, and then we'll go. Hello, welcome. I'm Stephen Watson. I'm here at Someday Farm, and this is today's Tàijíquán Tip. And the tip here is to practice grief. This is something we're all going to, let's say, we're all going to be lucky enough to experience. If we're not lucky enough to experience it, then other people are experiencing it for us. So we'll imagine here that I've just lost someone, and as I'm going through, I do this with form rather than exercise or drill, but I imagine it can be done with a number of different things. But for me, a form, because I know the form so well, so like my base form. And everything that sort of has a sweeping, clearing quality, I'm going to sort of think that I'm letting what I've lost be released from this realm, or I'm letting myself release from it because it's physically gone, so I may have to emotionally or psychologically release. So if I have a thing that we might consider a block or something, a clearing movement, I'm imagining that as a release, maybe on a spiritual level or emotional level or psychological level or something like that, or like a meditative practice. And then anything that comes into my center, right? So when I'm drawing into the center, I'm imagining here I'm welcoming in the memories of that thing, how it served me, maybe how it didn't serve me, maybe how we argued, maybe they're happy memories, doesn't really make a difference in terms of the tip, but it might certainly make a difference to you in the practice. But inviting in the memories and then helping to clear away the connections, right, the attachments. So enjoy that. While you're at it, maybe spend a little bit of time inviting in the memories of your teacher and clearing away your attachments to perhaps any idea of their sense of deification or perfection. Thank you. Love. So hopefully you guys are getting a sense of how I do it. Probably got a few more minutes, so I think we'll just keep going. I'm just changing so it just looks a little visually different. That's why I took my hat off, a few minutes ago. So. Hello, I'm Stephen Watson. Hello there. Welcome to Someday Farm. This is today's Tàijíquán Tip. So the idea here is that when we're practicing a form in Tàijíquán, we'll often have moves that repeat, right? So for a lot of us, that would be something like wave hands like clouds or repulse monkey or something like that. We certainly have moves that don't repeat one after the other, but they repeat. They're done once, but then that once is repeated. Like single whip, we'll do it all by its lonesome, and then later on all by its lonesome, and then later on all by its lonesome. Here I'm thinking of something that repeats one after the other for some number of times. And the idea is this can allow me to compare doing it one way with another in a sort of kinesthetic and easy to remember way. In other words, I just did it one way, now I'm doing it another a moment later. And so the thought that I have is that as I'm practicing something that repeats, in a string in the form, do it once where it's arms moving through the posture. And then do it again where it's whole body movement, right? So generally speaking, nobody's watching going to be thinking that looks like Tai Chi, right? Whereas this might look like Tai Chi. You might think, it doesn't look like good Tai Chi, but there's nothing much I can do except keep But the idea is that nobody's going to really think that that is Tai Chi, but they would understand, hey, this person, however well or poorly they're doing it, is trying to find those principles. So practice it, not whole body and then whole body, or the other way around. If it repeats 5 times, you can do it like 3 times one way and then 2 times the other. It doesn't really matter the order, but it's just so that you can kind of feel the difference. You know the difference, but you don't often feel them side by side because of the months of practice that it takes you to go from one experience to the other. So thank you very much, and please remember that your teacher taught with more than the whole body. There's probably the whole mind, the whole heart, maybe the whole spirit. So thank you. Well, it looks like I have a few minutes left. You know, we'll see if we get interrupted by the students coming in. But this is just rapid fire. Usually I do them 1 or 2 in a row, but just having fun with it since you guys are here. So we'll see if we can do yet another. Hello, welcome. This is Somebody Farm. I'm Stephen Watson, and you're watching today's Tàijíquán Tip. And the idea in the tip this time is to pick a movement. It could be a static posture, it could be a repeated posture, it could be a section, it could just be that one move that has that one name. It doesn't really matter. To me at this point, you'll have to figure out what's right for you. But to start with a zone, an area, a section, a region, a structure of the body, and tighten it up. It doesn't have to be the tightest it's ever been. We certainly don't want to, create a problem, a medical problem, but tighten it up. So we might think sort of my shoulder on my right side. Maybe that's in my pec, my back, my neck, and my bicep a little bit. That's why I say region. We don't have to be too anatomically specific, but the idea is I don't want to tighten my whole body, but I might decide I just want to tighten my abs, maybe my back and my butt, something like that. Maybe I want to tighten pretty much everything about my foot, so my toes curl, my arch feels different, and my instep feels different. And then through that movement, right, maybe it's a repeating movement, maybe it's a sequence, maybe it's a move, so a posture that we usually call it in Tàijíquán. What I want to do is progressively relax. And if it turns out that at your pace, the movement, let's just say, takes you 10 seconds, but you can progressively relax for 30, maybe try it over the course of 3 moves, so that at the end of whatever your move is, or moves are, you've progressed through the progressive relaxation to, for you, today, your most relaxed state. So that we develop almost like wearing a groove into something. I become familiar with that path of that practice of relaxation, what it physically feels like in the body. So as we're practicing whatever the move happens to be, I'm progressively relaxing. And again, I'm not trying to relax more than I ever have before, and I'm not trying to tighten up more than I ever have before. I'm trying to familiarize myself with that particular path. So thank you very, very much. And remember, practice is the answer to every question. Thank you. All right. So, didn't get interrupted. I don't know if we risk one more. It's about time. They're probably coming in any minute. But it's kind of fun to try, so we'll try. Okay. Change where I am just to visually change it a little bit. Hello, this is Somebody Farm. I'm Stephen Watson, and this is today's Tàijíquán Tip. Thank you for joining us. yet again. So the idea here is to practice my Tàijíquán practice. So my drill, my Daoyin, my two-person set, my weapon set, my long set, my short set, whatever it happens to be. But to practice it, at least in places or in parts, with a mudra held rather than whatever the arm and hand positions would be as prescribed in your study of the form. And when I say mudra, I don't necessarily mean one that you've previously studied or you know for certain. It just simply has to have some meaning for you. So it might be, for example, I'm just making up, this might have the meaning of receiving, right? Like you can see I have my hands out, right? Like a beggar. It might have something like this, which might really convey to people the idea of being grateful or thankful, right? So maybe I'm practicing my form like as prescribed, and then I just transition into continuing that form, which I'm visualizing now, and I'm stepping where I'm supposed to step, and I know normally that looks like here, but I'm coming around, and I'm almost like a lightning rod. I make this shape to invite that particular energy in. So in that case, maybe it's gratefulness, maybe it's prayerfulness, maybe it's mindfulness, whatever it happens to be. If you happen to have a studied mudra, sure, go ahead, do that mudra. I often practice holding a mudra. And when we look at the whole form, we might even see, boy, really the form is just a bunch of mudras that we know have practical functionality in terms of blocking the eye and releasing the grip and so forth. But maybe we can also see that these shapes have this sort of mudra-ness possible to them. So the point here isn't to turn you into somebody who understands and knows everything about mudras and shift your studies, but to recognize that we as humans have a basic understanding of a mudra, a hand position that's meaningful and not merely mundane. So thank you very much, and maybe spare a thought for the mundane elements of your life that have supported your practice. Right? Your practice floor and the candles, and the memory of your teacher, and that one $2 book that you bought in 1976 that got you started. Thank you. Okay, so it feels like my class is about to start, so that's as far as we're going to go. So hopefully you got a little bit of a sense of the format. You know, usually I'll have slightly different angles and you know, be wearing different things. I'll be at different days or different times of the day. But I just start recording, I start moving, hit record, start teaching, see the timer, try and get out of the teaching. As I approach the camera, come up with something, and then that's it. So thank you for joining me. This is my first kind of attempt at doing it behind the scenes, so any feedback is great. And as you've seen before, tips are helpful, so thank you.